Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Gante and you already know what time it is. It's time to use our brains and become scientists. So, we've been talking about pollution and conservation. So today, let's go ahead and jump right in. What is pollution? Pollution happens when the environment is contaminated or dirtied by waste, chemicals, and other harmful substances. There are three main forms of pollution: air, water, and land. In this lesson, we are going to be talking about air pollution. What is air pollution? Air pollution occurs when gases, dust particles, fumes, smoke, or odors are introduced into the atmosphere in a way that makes it harmful to humans, animals, and plants. Air pollution results in the air being dirty, contaminated, unclean, or often toxic. Different causes of air pollution. So there are two main causes of air pollution, much like when we talked about water pollution. We have natural causes and human causes. Natural causes are not as common, and we are going to review some. We have forest fires, volcanic eruptions, wind erosion, pollen dispersal, evaporation of organic compounds, and natural radioactivity. We are going to go in further depth with the human causes. So these are the most common human-caused forms of air pollution. We have number one, emissions from industries and manufacturing activities. Number two, burning fossil fuels. Number three, household and farming chemicals. So let's dive deeper into these three human-caused forms. Emissions from industries and manufacturing activities. So waste incinerators, manufacturing industries, and power plants emit high levels of carbon monoxide, organic compounds, and chemicals into the air. It happens almost everywhere that people live. Petroleum refineries also release lots of hydrocarbons into the air. Here was the second one, the burning of fossil fuels. So cars and heavy-duty trucks, trains, shipping vessels, and airplanes all burn lots of fossil fuels to work. Emissions from automobile engines contain both primary and secondary pollutants. That is a major cause of pollution and one that is very difficult to manage, as humans rely heavily on vehicles and engines for transporting people, goods, and services. So here we have all these emissions that are coming from cars and automobiles, and maybe we have seen this on the road. This is a form of air pollution. The next one that we have is household and farming chemicals. So crop dusting, fumigating homes, household cleaning products, or painting supplies, over-the-counter insect and pest killers, fertilizer, dust emits harmful chemicals into the air and cause pollution. In many cases, when we use these chemicals at home or offices with no or little ventilation, we may fall ill if we breathe them. So here we have an example of just crop dusting. And although this is helping our crops, we are also polluting the air in a way. So boys and girls, as we have learned time and time again, every cause has an effect. The effects of air pollution. Air pollution and the release of gases into the atmosphere can have many negative effects on the environment. So the first one we're going to go over is global warming. One type of air pollution is the addition of carbon dioxide gas into the air. Some scientists believe that releasing too much carbon dioxide into the atmosphere is one of the causes of global warming. This upsets the balance of the carbon cycle. The second one is the ozone layer. So the ozone layer helps protect us from harmful rays from the sun, and it is getting damaged from all the air pollution such as methane gas from livestock. And the third one, we have acid rain. Acid rain is created when gases get high into the atmosphere, and this rain can damage forests and kill fish. And we have also talked about acid rain when we discussed water pollution in our last lesson. So let's talk about the effects on health. So the top was talking about the effects on our environment. Now let's talk about the effects on health. Air pollution can make people sick. It can make it difficult to breathe, and it can cause diseases such as lung cancer, respiratory infections, and heart disease. According to the World Health Organization, 2.4 million people die each year from air pollution. Air pollution can be especially dangerous to children living in big cities with bad smog. Why do you think that I mentioned big cities and not rural areas like Dalton? Why do you think that I mentioned big cities have bad smog? I want you to think about that as we keep going with this presentation. How to prevent air pollution. The first one I have is to encourage your family to commute in less cars. If we can all do this, there will be fewer cars on the road and fewer fumes will be produced. The second one that I have is to use energy, light, water, and firewood wisely. Lots of fossil fuels are burned to generate electricity, and so if we can cut down the use, we will also cut down on the amount of pollution we create. And the third one that I have is to recycle and reuse things. Doing that will minimize the dependence on producing new things. Remember, manufacturing industries create a lot of pollution. So if we can reuse things like shopping, plastic bags, clothing, paper, and bottles, it can help. Hey boys and girls, so let's jump right into it. We are going to be making a pollutant catcher today. Yes, you heard that correctly. We are going to be making something that is going to be catching those pollutants right from the air. Now, mind you, this is not going to happen in the matter of seconds. So what we're going to be making today, you're not going to be seeing immediate results. Let me just tell you. It's going to be happening gradually. So over a point of time. It's going to be happening gradually. So over time. Specifically, I want you to check your pollutant catcher over 2 weeks' time. That's when we're going to see the best results. But first, we're going to have to see what materials we're going to use in our pollutant catcher. So let's get started. All right, boys and girls, I'm ready. I'm thinking like a scientist, and I hope you guys are too. These are the materials that we're going to be using today. We are going to be needing a paper plate, petroleum jelly, some duct tape, and either some markers, pens or pencils, or your crayons and color pencils. Also, to spread around the petroleum jelly, if you don't want to use your hands, you can also use a plastic glove, but because we're recycling, I'm going to use a plastic bag. So I'm going to be using a plastic bag to dig out the petroleum jelly. So let's get started with our experiment. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to make sure you just have one paper plate, and this is the fun part. You get to decorate it however you want to. So go ahead and pause the video and decorate one side. So only one side, whichever side you want, but make sure it's only one side. Decorate one side however you want to. You can put a design, you can write a name, you can put a funny face. So go ahead and pause the video and put your design on there. All right, are you ready to show your design? Here's mine. Mine says, "Science is awesome," and I put a little bit of a swirl. All right, so I'm not that creative. I tried. So now, on the other side, this part is going to be our pollutant catcher. So on this side is going to be where we're going to smear our petroleum jelly. So what you're going to do with your plastic bag, your plain old hand, or your glove, you are going to smear it on all ends of this side of the plate. Not the side where you decorated, on this side of the plate. And you're just going to get like a chunk. So as you can see, I got my chunk on there. And I'm going to make sure that it's on all the ends. So you're going to make sure you're spreading it out everywhere. Kind of like you're putting on lotion on your body, but instead of your body, you're putting it on a plate. So lotion up that plate. And you might get some on your hands, but it's okay. In the name of science, make sure you get all those crevices. Really make sure you lay it on thick. All right, boys and girls, when you're finally finished with your plate, you're going to want it to look like this. As you can see, I did not miss any edges in covering the plate. It is completely covered and lathered in petroleum jelly. So now, what you're going to do next is just poke a hole. I did that with my pencil. And then you're going to just have a piece of tape and string it through, and then just tape it to your wall or an area in your room that you would like your pollutant catcher to be. So as you can see, I am rolling up the tape, and I am going to put it through the plate. And now I can put it anywhere where I want it to be. So let's say I wanted it to be right here in my house. I can leave it here, and that's where it would stay. So I am actually going to be making 3 of these pollutant catchers. Right now, I'm going to be cutting to a clip of Teacher Me making one, and I'll meet you back here at this video. All right, boys and girls, I have my pollutant catcher covered in petroleum jelly. I am about to place it on that vent, and it is going to stay on that vent for a month to see how many pollutants it can catch. Thank you to Teacher Me that just left it by the air vent. I think I'm going to be doing the same thing with mine. I'm going to be putting it at an air vent by my house, and I'm going to be making a 3rd one, and I am going to be putting it outside in my porch. And I will be checking in and updating you guys with the results in future lessons. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you guys make a pollutant catcher. And I want you guys to be thinking, which pollutant catcher do you think is going to be catching the most pollutants? Which area do you think it has the most pollution, and why? So once again, thank you guys for joining me in this lesson today. I hope you learned a lot about air pollution, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.